Welcome to the Daily Views on September 21st in 2021. Today we start in Washington in the United States. US President Joe Biden and his Democrats will probably not be able to pave the way to citizenship for people who have previously lived in the USA without a residence permit via a huge budget project. We are deeply disappointed with this decision, but the fight for the granting of legal status for immigrants in the context of budget consolidation continues, said the Democratic Majority Leader in the Senate, Chuck Schumer, on Sunday evening in the USA. The reason is a decision made by the Senate Rules of Procedure officer, Elizabeth McDonough, who reported it to the media. Her decision that immigration rules cannot be included in a massive bill is a setback for Biden. With the budget project, the Democrats want to pump huge sums of money into the country's social system over several years, for example, in education, childcare, family benefits, or health. They also want to advance the fight against the climate crisis. But the project is still in its infancy. The Democrats also wanted to give certain groups of immigrants a green card through this project, which can ultimately pave the way to citizenship. After taking office, Biden announced a change of course in migration policy. People who have previously lived in the USA without a residence permit should have the opportunity to obtain a residence permit and in the long term also US citizenship. We will continue to find the best way to give them the opportunity to obtain legal status, Schumer announced. And now about something legal, let's go to Moscow in Russia. The parliamentary and regional elections in Russia have been overshadowed by massive allegations of fraud. With the help of surveillance cameras, some cases were documented and shared on social media. A video shows a worker at a polling station in the city of Kemerovo in western Siberia. She demonstratively stood in front of a ballot box. Behind her you can see a hand that, next to a Russian flag, is probably putting ballot papers in the ballot box again and again. The woman looks embarrassed into the room. Another shot shows a mob being held in front of a surveillance camera that is supposed to have a ballot box in view. The Election Commission had promised in advance that the video broadcast should also be shown on the internet. The Golos organization's independent election observers have listed thousands of violations across the country. They reported, for example, that voters had been given ballot papers on which the tick for the Kremlin party United Russia had already been ticked. In another polling station, the ballpoint pen is said to have not worked. Only a pencil was at hand. In the Chelyabinsk region of the Urals, a woman reported, according to Golos, that she wanted to vote with her husband. According to the minutes, she had already voted. Presumably, someone else voted for her. According to Golos, there were also similar examples in other regions of the largest country in the world in terms of area. And that happened, for example, in St. Petersburg. A Russian woman living in Israel said she was able to vote twice, online and at a polling station. That shouldn't have happened there. But now let's go to Sydney in Australia. The koalas are in danger. According to a new study, the number of Australian marsupials is falling rapidly and has shrunk by 30% in the past 3 years alone. The Australian Koala Foundation, the AKF, announced on Monday that the population has declined in all regions of the country, but especially in the state of New South Wales on the east coast. Here, the number has even decreased by 41%. In many parts of the country, koalas are already extinct, it was said. According to the foundation, it is estimated that between 32,000 and 58,000 koalas are still living on the fifth continent today. In 2018, it was between 46,000 and 82,000. The devastating bushfires in the summer of 2019-2020 would have contributed significantly to the decimation of the cute eucalyptus eaters, said AKF chairwoman Deborah Tabard. The WWF announced in December that more than 60,000 koalas were likely killed, injured, displaced or traumatized in the fires. However, This is not the only reason for the decline. Droughts, heat waves, and water shortages also threaten the animals, according to Tabard. I've seen some landscapes that look like the moon, with dead and dying trees everywhere, she said. Above all, the clearing of land for agriculture, housing, and mining is deadly for the koalas, which are only native to Australia, said the expert. It's important to stop the clearing in koala habitats in order to protect our beloved national animal from danger, emphasized Tabard. And now let's go to Singapore for something quite regular. Oil prices started the new trading week on Monday with further discounts. In the morning, a barrel that's 159 liters of North Sea Brent cost $74.81. That was 53 cents less than the day before. The price of a barrel of American West Texas Intermediate fell 59 cents to $71.38. The US dollar has been burdening the oil market for a few days. Because the dollar is rising, oil is becoming more expensive for many consumers. The reason is that crude oil, like many other commodities, is traded in the US currency. Currency effects can therefore play a major role in price formation. In the financial markets this week, the focus is on American monetary policy. On Wednesday, the US Federal Reserve will announce the results of its interest rate meeting. It is eagerly awaited whether the Fed will send more concrete signals for the turnaround in monetary policy expected around the turn of the year. The direction of the Fed is considered to be trend-setting for many other central banks and the financial markets. Talking about financial markets and central banks, let's go to Frankfurt in Germany. The euro expanded its losses from last week on Monday and fell to a one-month low. In the morning, the common currency cost $1.1710, the lowest it has been for almost a month. The European Central Bank, the ECB, set the reference rate on Friday at 1.1780. At the start of the week, there's only a few economic data on the program that investors can use to base their decisions on. The highlight of the week is, as I said, the Federal Reserve's interest rate meeting. They want to announce on Wednesday what results they achieved. And the decisive factor really will be, will the Fed give more concrete indications for the new monetary policy around the turn of the year, or will it be the old one? And now let's go to Jersey City in the United States. A US police officer caught a baby after it was thrown from the first floor of a building in Jersey City. The only one-month-old baby was not injured in the incident. US media reported that on Sunday. A caller warned the police in neighboring New York City on Saturday that a child was in danger. A man then threatened in front of the officers that were called to throw the baby over a balcony on the first floor. The relationship between him and the child was not known at first. The police cordoned off the area to negotiate with the man, but he ultimately threw the baby from the balcony, wrote Mayor Stephen Fulop on Instagram. Policeman Eduardo Matute reacted quickly and caught the baby. Really good man. Fulop thanked the officers for their work and posted a photo showing Matute with a baby in her arms in the hospital. The suspect was arrested. A city spokesman told that to the CNN. He was therefore charged with attempted murder, grievous bodily harm, and endangering the child's welfare. The baby was taken to a local hospital as a precaution and later released. And this wasn't politics, but I had to talk about this one. But now let's go to London in the UK. After Brexit, the United Kingdom wants to emphasize its unity and is therefore changing its international vehicle registration number. From September 28th, Brits must have a UK sticker on the back of their car when traveling abroad. The previously used GB may then no longer be used without an additional UK sticker. The United Nations had been informed, said the Ministry of Transport in London. The Automobile Association AA, but also politicians from various camps, criticized the move. Supporters emphasize, however, that the people in Northern Ireland finally felt addressed. The British region is not part of Great Britain, but so far it's part of the United Kingdom. The change of the national identifier from GB to UK symbolizes our unity as a nation and is part of a more comprehensive step towards the use of the UK symbol in the entire government, the ministry explained the procedure. The UK stickers can be ordered online and bought in post offices and workshops and costs £1.50 each. That's €1.75 if you want to know. But now let's go to Warsaw in Poland. In the Polish border area with Belarus, the bodies of 3 people were found on Sunday. The people tried to enter Poland illegally, said Poland's Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki on Facebook on Sunday evening. The public prosecutor's office has started an investigation to clear up the circumstances of the tragic event. A dead woman was also discovered on the Belarusian side of the border, continued the politician of the Law and Justice Party, the PiS. Morawiecki demanded that a possible connection with Belarusian provocative action on the eastern border of his country should be investigated. The government in Warsaw had accused the Belarusian ruler, Alexander Lukashenko, of bringing refugees from crisis regions to the EU's external border in an organized manner. Lukashenko announced at the end of May that Minsk would no longer prevent migrants from continuing to travel to the EU, in response to tightened Western sanctions against the former Soviet Republic and present dictatorship. Poland recently declared a state of emergency in the border region with Belarus. Non-residents are not allowed in. In addition, soldiers of the Polish army erect a meter-high barbed wire fence at the border. And now for a moment go somewhere where we don't often go to. Let's go to Apia on Samoa. The South Pacific state of Samoa is abolishing summertime again. The country's new government announced on Monday that the clocks would not be put forward by 1 hour on Sunday as initially planned. The Ministry of Commerce did not initially name a reason in a communication. The previous government introduced the summertime rule in 2010, among other things to stimulate economic growth. After months of political turmoil, Fiame Naomi Mataafa has been the new prime minister in the island states since July. She is the first woman to head government there. Even a small holiday village on the South Island of New Zealand does not want to set the clock on Sunday. This is intended to support tourism in Te Anau on the South Island, as reported by the local media, citing the local authorities. In the 2,700 inhabitant community, the Te Anau time applies from now on, it was said. Visitors would have an hour longer to see the sights. Te Anau is right on the border of the Fiordland National Park and attracts guests with the second largest lake in the country and a cave system with an underground waterfall. Daylight saving time in New Zealand always starts on the first Sunday in October and ends on the third Sunday in March. And now, one more time we have to go to Russia, and this time we have to go to Yakutsk. In the parliamentary elections in Russia I talked about earlier, the Kremlin party United Russia lost its majority in the far eastern region of Yakutia. In the republic in eastern Siberia, where devastating forest fires have been raging for months, around 35% of the people voted for the communists. The party recorded an increase of almost 20 percentage points compared to the Duma election 5 years ago, according to publications by the Election Commission. United Russia only ended up in second place with around 33%. Because of the damage caused by the fires, people are particularly dissatisfied with the authorities and the policies of United Russia in Yakutia. According to the Yakut Electoral Commission, representatives of the Kremlin party, which supports President Vladimir Putin's course, requested a review of the vote count. This is expected to happen in the middle of the week, said the chairman of the commission, Yevgeny Fedorov, according to the Interfax agency. Throughout Russia, United Russia was clearly ahead. After counting around 2/3 of the votes, the party came to more than 48% on Monday morning. The opposition accuses the power apparatus of extensive manipulation. And if there might have been one or two sounds in the back of this video, I try to avoid this and manage this quite a lot and for a long time of the video, but there's a lot of building work going on right outside my house. Is a big building site, and here in the house, if you heard this one, I'm sorry, but I can't prevent this. It happens all day. I'll see you in my next video. Bis bald.